Hi. Um, that sucked. The LSU Tigers beat the Florida Gators. Historic game for the LSU Tigers. Historic game for the Florida Gators defense. We're going to talk about that and so much more here on Locked On Gators.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back, I guess, to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of your Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts. Happy Saturday night. It's an awesome evening, isn't it? I'm Brandon Olsen. Find me on Twitter at WNX_Brandon. WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with Whole Nine Sports, Giants Country, NFL 33. Join the subtext where we can talk about that disastrous performance by the Florida Gators. That's going to be really fun there. It's 2 weeks free, $5 per month. After that, it's genuinely, it's fun. It's extra. It's bonus content there that you get to partake in, and it's just a fun way to support the show if that's what you'd like to do. But this game was just, it's tough. It's tough because I want to say that Florida played okay for the first half. Because they did. For the first half, they played all right. Right? Like, I think it's hard to complain about the first half where you go in there and you're down 17-14. Defense made a goal line stand. Like, the defense made some plays where it's really hard to hate on them again in the first half and only the first half. And then you talk about the second half. I mean, there's no way to go into or out of this game and not be really pissed, because when it comes down to it, the Florida Gators gave up 700 yards against the LSU Tigers, against Jayden Daniels. He continued his Heisman campaign. There's a billion things that you can complain about this game. You can say, oh, there was no pressure. Oh, there was no coverage on the back end. Here's the thing. We've spent this whole season really talking about who can step up, talking about how we don't see a complete performance, how we haven't seen a complete performance from this Florida Gators team. And here's the thing. We didn't see anybody on the defense show up. That's it. We didn't see anybody show up. Pass rush didn't show up. Run defense didn't really show up. Coverage didn't show up. It was the defense put together one of the worst performances. Sorry, let me scratch that. The defense didn't put together one of the worst performances that we've ever seen. The Florida Gators defense put up the worst performance we've ever seen from them. It was just bad throughout. 700 yards. Jayden Daniels accounted for 600 of them. Do you know how freaking pathetic and embarrassing that is? I get it. Like, we can talk about this defense is young because here's the thing. Corners, not young. They just suck. Safeties, young. We can talk about that. We can say the safeties are just young. We saw it with Jordan Castell and Bryce Thornton. They're both true freshmen starting at safety. It's hard for me to kill them for things. But when I watch Jason Marshall, G5 Jason out there, be bad. And when I watch Jalen Kimber be bad in this game, it's wild to look at the guys who are supposed to be the experienced ones be bad. And there's no other way to describe them other than that. That's what they were, especially in this game. The defense, for a few weeks now, has been the reason that the Florida Gators are not bowl eligible. The offense was not perfect. 35 points is literally exactly what I projected. And I said that this game would be 45-35. It was 52-35. So pretty damn close. But this game is insane. I see a comment in there about the refs. Refs didn't give up 52 points. Okay. It was insane. And I see a comment there. And again, I try to get the comments in the second half of this, but I see a comment there that says, I said last year's defense was worse. How do I feel now? This year's defense is probably talent-wise worse, but it's easier to deal with because there's so many freshmen. Like I can look at Jordan Castell has made plays. Jordan Castell has gotten better as the year's gone on. Bryce Thornton has gotten better. Last year, we were looking at guys who were running out of seniority, running out of eligibility. That's what we were looking at. This year, at least we're looking at true freshmen, and we can talk about that. We can say that they're getting valuable experience for next time. We can cope however we want to cope. But when it comes down to it, this is a team that they're just not good at football right now. They're more athletic than I ever was. They're more athletic than I'm ever going to be. They're better at football than I ever was, and they're better at football than I'm ever going to be. But I can sit here and I can tell you that on Jayden Daniels' last touchdown pass to Brian Thomas Jr., the second I saw him pull that ball back, I audibly said, touchdown. That's how bad this defense is, that the moment a quarterback pulls the ball behind his head, I know there's someone wide open downfield. So we can complain about the pass. Because here's the thing. It's not just that they're bad at things. They're also just not playing complementary football. In the sense of, yes, the pass rush should have hit home more. I hated the pass rush plan tonight. I absolutely hated it. However, pass rush doesn't matter when there's no coverage. I understand that even in the Locked On Gators Discord, links in the description below, even in that, people talk about it's hard to cover when there's no pass rush. It's hard to rush the passer and have time to work there when there's no coverage. This is what we call a dog crap defense right now. Far too up linebackers had bad pursuit angles. I remember there was one play specifically where Scooby was still making the communication and LSU snapped the ball. You gotta be quicker than that if you want to compete in the SEC. Because again, this is the SEC. I get it. The SEC is having a down year. They're still kicking the crap out of everyone now. Like, look at the top of the SEC still. This is still the SEC. And you can't be in the SEC. I see a comment. It's not the offense's fault that they're not putting up insane numbers. But there's like Graham Mertz has the same issues this season that are bothering him. And again, he's greatly exceeded expectations. He's greatly outperformed expectations. He's played a hell of a season this year. But the things that he does that drive me absolutely freaking crazy. Throw the ball away. If you're gonna scramble, take off and run. Stop doing this bull crap where you're like, you know what? I feel like a 2nd and 12 instead of a 2nd and 8. I just don't get it. It blows my mind to watch that. And this offense, we see Trey Wilson be so damn dynamic every time he touches the ball. And from the moment the first quarter ends to the moment the fourth quarter starts, Billy Napier's just like, Trey Wilson? Nah, I'm good at that. I'm good on those. I mean, this team is just a catastrophic failure this year. And it starts at the top this year. Like I'm not saying that Florida should have won this game. I'm not saying that it should have been significantly closer. I'm saying that there have been far too many moments where there was just bad football from this team, whether it's stupid penalties. I don't like to talk about players as if they're not good, again, because they're better than I'm ever going to be. I don't like to say that players are just generally bad. I will say, why on earth is Damian George starting at right tackle? Which, by the way, like when you put him at left tackle, he's fine. He's better than Austin Barber when he's at left tackle. But they play him at right tackle because they, for some reason, feel they need to play Austin Barber at left tackle. Oh my God. I get 35 points is an all right show. It's a pretty good showing if you're Florida. However, this was also against LSU, who's given up 45. They gave up 31 to Arkansas. They gave up 55 to Ole Miss. They gave up 39 to Missouri. I mean, yeah, this isn't a great LSU defense. It's a bad LSU defense. Let's just call a spade a spade. 35 points is respectable, we'll say. It's not ideal, but it's respectable, we'll say. Yeah, we'll say that, but 52 points, wow. I'm not saying anybody needs to be fired from this game. I'm not going to say that. I refuse to make an assessment like that off one game. But when you look at the past month, the defense has been really, really bad. Like, really bad. Highest paid assistants are the ones that are underperforming. Okay? Corey Raymond in the secondary. Austin Armstrong as DC. Rob Sale as O-line coach and an offensive coordinator. The highest paid assistants are the ones that are really crapping the bed right now. That's rough. We'll talk about the chat. We'll talk with the chat for the rest of this this bonus episode. But before I get to the chat, before I spend time reading those and losing my mind even further, it's time for your game changer of the week. And guess what? It's brought to you by Athletic Brewing Company. The Florida Gators game changer of the week this week. I'm going to say it was Austin Armstrong. In the worst freaking way. I'm going to say it was Austin Armstrong. Athletic Brewing Co., they've changed the non-alcoholic beer game for better. I cannot say the same about Austin. The approach that the team took, oh man, we'll talk about it. But first-time customers, you can use code LOCKEDON to get 15% off your first online order with athleticbrewing.com. And I'm telling you, they're actually fantastic. They are fantastic. I need alcohol tonight, but they are fantastic. Let's go to LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON at checkout for 15% off at athleticbrewing.com. Exclusions and conditions do apply. Athletic Brewing Company is fit for all times. And today's bonus episode of Locked On Gators is also brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best way for me to make money playing daily fantasy this year. If you've got skills and a little bit of time, you can turn $10 into $250 with just, guess what? A few easy taps and research. It's simple and easy to play with quick withdrawals too. It's what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Thank you, Jayden Daniels and Jalen Mowrow. You both helped me make money today because your yards more easy money. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnCollege. Use code LockedOnCollege for a first deposit match up to $100. Remember that Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports made easy. 90 of you in here. Welcome to Locked On Gators postcast. Just tears are flowing right now, right? Let's take a deep breath. I just spilled that on me, but whatever. Fun stuff there. This game is just, it was bad. I'm going to break out the whiteboard for a second. I wasn't planning on breaking out the whiteboard, but there's a specific play that I want to bring up on the whiteboard, and LSU ran it a lot. It was 5 offensive linemen QB. We'll put the F there. We'll put the Jack there. We'll put the 1 there. We'll put the 3 there. We'll put the Mike, the Will. Okay, so this is what the play looks like, right? And this is LSU's favorite play. It worked every single time they did it. So what that happens is they snap the ball, right? They snap the ball. Offensive line, they're dropping back into their little pass sets. So they snap the ball, they drop back in, right? And then this is what happens. Jayden Daniels drops back. It's a 5-step drop, 3-step drop. And then he just runs right by everybody. That's my favorite play. That's crazy. It was crazy. It was the coolest play ever. It worked every single time. It was really fun. It was ridiculous that it worked like that. Who does Billy blame in the press conference tonight, dude? Hopefully himself. I kind of want him to be like, who would have thought? Who would have thought that Jayden Daniels was going to run the ball? Who would have thought Jayden Daniels was going to do two things? One, run the ball himself. Two, bomb it on our heads. Who could have predicted that? No one expected that, right? This was child's play. Like I felt like I was playing my 7-year-old cousin in Madden. That's what it was like being LSU's offense against Florida's defense. It was dog crap. Episodes like this, I wish we could just go explicit because man, it was bad. It was bad. Austin Armstrong, again, schematically, he does some things very well. I will give credit where credit is due. Austin Armstrong does some things schematically really freaking well. And as much as we don't want to admit it, Billy Napier has done some things offensively where he's improved a lot. Like we talk about, I know I tweeted out the video of it before, but they ran split zone, they bluffed it, and they ran a reverse or an end around off of it. And that was a really cool play design. I'm going to draw it up. I'm whiteboarding it up because why not, right? Life is pain. We might as well have some fun with it. So you got your offensive line right here. We'll just put, I don't know what they call their end. So I'm just going to put end there. We got QB here. We have Hayden here. I'm going to put H. We have Trevor Etienne here. So 7. We got 1 there, Ricky Pearsall. We've got Trey Wilson there, and this is what happened. So that's basically the setup. I only drew 1 defender because he's all that matters for talking about this. You run split zone. Split zone is that. Running back is running to that side, and the tight end is basically sealing the edge on the opposite side. When they ran that, it also was accompanied by jet motion by Ricky Pearsall. Drag the defense one way. Then you run split zone, make them think you're going that way, and we ran the reverse here, and it led Hayden Hansen right there to just lead block it. And it was a fun play design. Like I will give credit where credit is due. That was a fun play design. The split zone bluff, you hand it off to the end around. It's fun. It's awesome. So I just wanted to talk about that because there were some things that this team did well. Like I'm not going to pretend that they didn't. Offense had some great plays. Defense, you made some good plays. Jayden Hill sacks in back-to-back games. We'll give credit there. Princely Emmanuel, I don't remember a single play where he made an impact except for Jayden Daniels' 85-yard rushing touchdown with the read option. He crashed down. Probably should have contained, although I will say this. It also looked like Bryce Thornton was trying to loop around. So I'm not sure if this is like that play that the Georgia guy posted, Brooks Austin, I think it was. And he's like, oh, like you never go in. But Princey was like, hey, I was supposed to go in, linebacker supposed to wrap around. Maybe it was that. But man, it's just, I don't think you could break out a play like that against Jayden Daniels. Like, because it's not just like, oh, you can't defend the option like that. Jayden Daniels is he outran the whole defense. Like this was just, it was a bad performance every step of the way. Okay. It was a bad performance every step of the way. And I get there are some things where you go, it's the process. Things are going to get better. You can say, I'm not out on this coaching staff, and I'm not going to be out on this coaching staff this year. I need to stop saying I'm not out, because guess what? That's not changing this year, just in general. I'm not the type to do that. At the end of the year, we'll see. But even then, doubt it. Also, because I know he's not getting fired. I know Billy Napier's not getting fired. Ain't happening. So there's no point in being like, well, I'm out. Because then I'm just going to be sitting here and frankly bitching and moaning for the next 2 years. And that seems wasteful, right? But I will say, this coaching staff needs drastic changes. You need to hire an offensive coordinator. You have to figure out what the hell is going on with Corey Raymond, because the secondary has been well below par, and it's the guys who've had 2 years with him. Jordan Castell, he's had bad plays, he's had good plays. Bryce Thornton's had bad plays, he's had good plays. They're true freshmen. I'll take it. I don't care about the good plays or the bad plays there. I will take it. But Jason Marshall Jr., Jalen Kimber, bad. They've played worse. Austin Barber on the offensive line. Rob Sale, sorry, buddy. I defended you all off season of don't get rid of him. He can develop. Austin Barber has regressed greatly. He got spun around. He has had multiple bad games at this point. And he was a guy who, I swear, Florida Gators Twitter was, Austin Barber is going to be a first-round pick. He was never going to be that, buddy boy. He's regressed. But even if he didn't regress, he was never going to be that. The offensive line is bad. For some reason, they refuse to make the change at right tackle. And I will stay with this. Damian George is better at left tackle than he is at right tackle. I don't know why, but he is. Okay. And I'm fine. If you want to start Damian George at left tackle, put Cam Waits at right tackle, and put Austin Barber on the bench for a game, do it. Do it. I don't care, because guess what? None of them are working out a ton right now. None of them. Running game had one of their better games, but even then, I get it. Like, I get it. You ran for damn near 200. Trevor Etienne had 18 carries. Montrell Johnson had 16 carries. Both backs played okay. This was against a defense that was allowing over 5 yards per carry. I'm not too great at math, but if I'm not mistaken, yeah, 4.2 yards per carry this game. 4.2. Granted, that's including sacks and whatnot, but so is the 5.5 yards that they've been allowing. So you lost that battle as well. I will say some positives. Florida went up tempo more frequently in this game than they had, I think, in any other game, or at least it felt like they did. So there was that. I blame Billy for the defense, and then I didn't do that at all. Joe Blackburn said, "Who is your boss, so I can at least do my part and try to get you fired. If it doesn't work, so be it." Joe Blackburn, you want to know who my boss is so you can try and go get me fired? At Zach Blackerby or David Locke. Go do it, buddy, because I promise you, I'm still going to be right here telling you the truth about the Florida Gators program. They've been bad. They've been bad. So there's that. Yeah, I listen to this guy pretending to know football. All right, buddy. So there you go, Joe. Yeah, you say whatever you want to those guys. Yeah, it's bad. I mean, this is legitimately just people like in the chat fighting. If Napier's fired, Strickland will get a third chance to hire the head coach. Yes, Sean, that is exactly right. If Billy Napier gets fired at any point, Sean Strickland will not have, or Scott Strickland will not have the opportunity to hire another head coach. He won't, because this would have been his that didn't work. So there's that. That didn't work. Lagway, Phil, Sammy McCray, none of these guys will end up in our class. Watch out. Highly doubt that. Yeah, highly doubt that. This game sucked. We'll say that. Florida Gators fans, let's feel. Well, that's what Saturdays are for. Saturdays are for feeling. So let's when are the corners going to be subbed? I will say that I'm curious to know what would have happened with Devin Moore had he not been ruled out with a concussion that he sustained in practice. Curious what would have happened there. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. How bad is Florida State going to lay the wood to 70 points? I don't know. Florida State's weird. They're just a very weird team. Like I can't. I still don't have a beat on them as to whether or not they're actually good or not. We'll see what really happens. Like, I know that they're good, but yeah. Brandon, do we keep Mertz if we get an OC, DC, and O-line coach and a special teams coach? Not replacing a DC. I don't think that you replace Austin Armstrong because I think it's really hard to sell the process as a coach if you replace your DC again after just replacing Patrick Toney. I think Mertz is just if he wants to come back. It's does he want to come back or go to the NFL? And I don't think he's ever going to be better than an NFL backup. So I think he comes back, has one more year of glory, if you want to call it that, as a starting QB, and then calls it a day. He's going to have faster weapons, hopefully a better O-line. Can't be worse. So I think that you look at that and you look at the grand picture. Maybe Graham Mertz comes back, but man, next year could be rough. Still got Missouri next week. And look, if Florida's first half against LSU, if you can put that together for a full game, you have a legitimate chance. You went into Death Valley and you played 2 strong quarters to start, a solid third quarter. I think if you put together a similar performance, as in your similar talent, like you did this against a better offense than Missouri has. So I think that if you could do that, great, but also you're going up against a better defense. But I'm Brandon Olsen. This is Locked On Gators. Thank you for, listening to this show at all, tuning in at any point. Thanks, Bill. Love you. Thanks, Will. I actually appreciate that one. That wasn't a sarcastic one. People say whatever they want. The fan base, they look for people to bash it out on. So I get it. As a Florida Gators fan, I'm gonna take it out on my friends. We have game night, Monopoly. But thank you so much. This is still amazing to me that I get to do this for a job. Almost 30 minutes of this. Life is pain sometimes. Thank you very much, Thomas. Love you. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, we'll be here Monday again, talking this Florida Gators game. I love you all in the chat right now that are defending me. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. This will never get lost on me. I appreciate you very much. And as always, see you all on Monday.